A very pleasant 7th of March to all of us. I welcome, on behalf of the Rail Enthusiast Society, the participants to the conference, our annual conference held every year. The topic for the conference this year is Rail Trails, Tales of Iconic Trains. Our 2 day conference is going to feature six speakers each day. The topics are very interesting, and the speakers too are experienced in the working of the railways, traveling on the railways, and enjoying railways in general. Before the conference actually starts, I would now request the President, Sri Vinu Mathur, to open the conference. I would like to introduce Sri Vinu N. Mathur, a professional railwayman. Vinu N. Mathur retired from active railway service as member of the Indian Railways Board. Although directly involved in rail operations as a member of the Indian Railways Traffic Service, his first love has always been that of delving into the railways history and penning his thoughts and ideas. He has authored two well researched books, Bridges, Buildings, and Black Beauties of Northern Railway, and Indian Railway Buildings, History, Heritage, and Beyond. He is one of the founder members of the Rail Enthusiast Society and now leads it as its president. Over to you, Mr. Mathur.
Thank you, Manoj. Well, on behalf of the society, let me welcome all the participants and speakers to our annual conference this year. About the society, we were established about over 10 years ago, and we have been involved in various activities to popularize the railways. India has one of the largest rail networks in the world, but unfortunately, rail fanning and enthusiasm for the railways has really not grown as fast as it should have. Although in recent years, it is becoming more and more popular. And this is one of the society's endeavor. We have been having these annual conferences for the last few years, and the themes have been diverse. For example, last year we celebrated 200 years of the railways and 100 years of electrification in India at a conference called Rail 200. In the past, we have had the theme has been Fascinating World of Rail Museums, Railways of the Future, Railways Transcending Cultures, and so on. This year, the theme for the conference is Rail Trails, Tales of Iconic Trains. During the conference, while we shall be discussing famous trains from various parts of the world, in my view, for each individual, an iconic train is one in which the individual is himself associated, which he may have traveled by or may have seen passing in his childhood, and by which he has been fascinated. All these trains may not be famous trains. So let me kick off the conference with my own iconic train. It is one by which I frequently traveled in my childhood, youth, and early railway career. And this train, at the time I used to travel between Bombay and New Delhi. It is a train called the Frontier Mail. The Frontier Mail began its run in 1928. And why it is called the Frontier Mail? Because it used to go from Bombay right up to Peshawar, which was the sort of frontier of British India at the time. In 1996, they changed the name of the train to Golden Temple Express because after partition of India, the train started running up to Amritsar, and Amritsar is the holy city of the Sikhs where the Golden Temple is located. But it is a fine train. Now, many other faster trains have been introduced. But some of its unique features from my own childhood were it used to run with a powerful Pacific class WP locomotive. And one of the sights which I can never forget is at a station called Shamgarh on its run. The train engine used to be cold. There was a coal loading plant, a unique contraption on the railway platform, from which through a chute the coal used to go into the tender of the locomotive. The second other feature which I do recall, this was the time when there were no vestibule trains, there were separate compartments, and there was very little, there practically no air conditioning. And India gets pretty hot in summer. And the system that was used was actually loading coal, sort of ice slabs in large metallic receptacles on the floor of the compartment, and the air of the fan used to reflect off these ice slabs and cool the compartment. It was a very unique feature. The third element of this particular train I'd just like to briefly mention is the kind of luggage we carried at that time, which has simply disappeared. All our luggage was not suitcases then, it was trunks, steel trunks. I used to go to school in a boarding school, and there was this trunk which used to go with us. Then at the time, beddings were not supplied by the railways. And we used to have a piece of luggage called the hold all, which has suddenly just disappeared over the last 2 decades. And in that hold all, you could put in many things. It usually had a mattress or a quilt and pillows, and you tucked in your shoes into the corners. And it had it was a canvas built equipment, and it had two straps to sort of wrap it up. And those were the good old days of the hold all. Unfortunately, they have all gone, and it is just nostalgia now. Well, with this brief introduction to the Frontier Mail, which was a very punctual train, and had a very unique history, because in the early days it used to start from Ballard Pier for some time, in some days in the week, when people, when coming by sea from UK, could directly transship at the pier into the train. So it's a unique train, and there are many such unique trains in India. This was a very famous train, and I'm sure during this course of this conference, you will get experiences of unique trains that run all across the globe. So I would like to once again welcome all the participants and speakers, and I do hope you have an enjoyable 2 days with us. Thank you. Back to you, Manoj.